we've reached chapter number 11, where the author rahimahullah says, Bab al-Ghuluwi fil Qur'an, chapter of extremism in regards to the Qur'an. He says, Fi hadith al-Khawarij al-Mutaqaddim. In regards to this chapter is the narration of regarding the Khawarij, which has preceded, which we took before, about how the Qur'an does not pass their throats and does not go toward their hearts, and as such, that they went to extreme regarding the Qur'an. And it comes وفي الصحيح عن Abdullaah ibn Amr رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألم أخبر أنك تصوم الدهر وتقرأ القرآن كل ليلة. Have I not been informed that you fast the whole year and you recite the Qur'an every single night? قلت بلى يا رسول الله. He said, of course, Ya Messenger of Allah. ولم أريد بذلك إلا الخير. I did not intend by that except good. قال فصوم صوم داود فإنه كان أعبد الناس وقرأ القرآن كل شهر. Fast the fast of Dawood alayhi salam, for he was the most worshipping of Allah from amongst the people. And read the Qur'an every month once. قلت يا رسول الله إني أطيق أفضل من ذلك. O Messenger of Allah, I'm able to do more than that, or better than that. قال فاقرأه في كل 20. Then read the Qur'an every 20 days. قال قلت يا نبي الله, O Prophet of Allah, إني أطيق أفضل من ذلك. I can do better than that. قال فاقرأه في كل 10. Then read it every 10 days. قلت يا نبي الله إني أطيق أفضل من ذلك. قال فاقرأه في كل 7 ولا تزد على ذلك. Read it in every 7 and do not increase upon that. Meaning read the Qur'an once every 7 days. This hadith, or before that, this chapter about al-Ghulu fil Qur'an, as I mentioned before, that the people regarding the Qur'an are 3 groups. One group is those who are negligent regarding the Qur'an. They do not give the Qur'an its due right. They do not follow its commandments or stay away from its prohibitions. They have negligence toward the Qur'an. A second group are those who are in the middle, and they are the best path. Those who follow the commandments of the Qur'an without having negligence and without having extremism. They follow the commandments, stay away from the prohibitions, and they do it in a way which is in the medium, the straight path. The third group is those who have ghulu, those who have extremism regarding the Qur'an, who are extreme. Now extremism, as the scholars mentioned, ghulu is tajawuzul had. It is to exceed the limits which are legislated in Islam. To exceed the limits which are legislated. Now exceeding the limit regarding the Qur'an is that one exceeds the limit which is befitting for him. Meaning, befitting for him with the Qur'an, meaning that perhaps he carries some ayahs upon its wrong meaning, as the Khawarij did. They took some ayahs which were based upon the kuffar and they carried it upon the Muslims. That's a form of extremism. Or it could be in regards to one's recitation. His recitation could also be from ghulu. He goes into extreme with the makharij al-huruf. If he does not reach that makhraj, he stops there and he could repeat it again. If he does not reach the makhraj, he repeats it again. And he continues to repeat it, although he did not change the meaning of the Qur'an. But because he's extreme in his recitation, he continues to do so. And some of the scholars they mention from that is the letter Dad. Some of them they go into extreme with this letter Dad. Until some of the scholars wrote books about how to pronounce it, and other scholars refute them, and they kept going back and forth. The real issue is that Dad is hard for some of the people to pronounce. And if they pronounce it a certain way, which the meaning is not changed, it's still correct. But you'll find some of them go to extreme. If they do not hear the Dad properly, they say Salat al-Fatih is not, Fatih is not correct. This is extremism in regards to the Qur'an or many of the scholars. For that reason they say that also from extremism is al-mad, the elongation of the different letters, elongating it to 8 letters or 9 letters or 10 letters, which the tajweed does not come with, is also from extremism in regards to Qur'an. Obviously some of this extremism, some of it is worse than others. Some of it is considered worse than others, but it's still a form of extremism in regards to the Qur'an. From that, Fadaa'il Ibn Jawzi rahimahullah says that some of them, when they want to utter the letter Dad, they go extreme and they repeat it and they repeat and they repeat until it comes out as nothing. And then he says this is from a tanattu', this is from extremism, which Allah did not command you with. Allah did not command you with this. So this is from some of the ways that shaitan comes to people, as Ibn Jawzi mentioned, Talbis al-Iblis, that he comes to them with the issue of makharij al-huruf and reciting certain letters. It's also from ghulu. From that which is considered ghulu is that one goes into extremes regarding its rulings and its prohibitions. That is also a form of ghulu. As for the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr al-As radiallahu anh, we went through his biography before. He's a great Sahabi radiallahu anh. As we mentioned, Imam Shawkani rahimahullah said, he is the Abidul Sahaba, the worshipper amongst the Sahaba. And this is not far-fetched. If you look at this hadith, you see how firm he was in regards to his worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas he would fast every single day. He fasted every single day of the year except for which days? Anyone know? There was 5 days he didn't fast. Eid, the 2 Eids, and Ayyam Tashriq. And Ayyam Tashriq. He fasted every day except for the 2 Eids and Ayyam Tashriq, as the scholars they mentioned. Also, it has been mentioned in this hadith that he used to read the Qur'an, finish it every single night. Every single night. Now this, as some of the scholars they mentioned, that the Prophet ﷺ, he said that none of you should finish the Qur'an in less than how many days? 3 days. So for that reason the Prophet advised him that he should not finish the Qur'an to this amount, meaning every single night. For the reason for that is that, one, it is hard upon the individual. For that reason Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anh, at the end of his life said, I wish that I took the Prophet ﷺ's advice not to do so as such, because he got tired out later on. Second is because the one who does so in less than 3 days, he does not understand the Qur'an properly. He does not understand and benefit from the Qur'an properly. Now one may ask, what about those scholars who finish the Qur'an in less than 3 days? Such as been affirmed from Tamim bin Aus al-Dari and Uthman bin Affan, that they finished the Qur'an in 1 rak'ah. What's the answer to that? Anyone know? One is that, one answer the scholars give, they didn't know the prohibition of it. Not to finish in less than 3 days. Any other excuse that the scholars they give? One is some of the scholars say because in Ramadan it's encouraged that you increase in recitation of the Qur'an. For there is some of the Salaf, they used to recite it 250 times in the month. Because the encouragement increasing. Any other excuse that the scholars they give for them? Other scholars they said that the reason for that is they were scholars who understood the meaning of the Qur'an. So if they finish in less than 3 days, they still benefited from the Qur'an. Unlike others who finish in less than 3 days, they do not benefit from the Qur'an. They do not benefit from the Qur'an. But some of the scholars say the best meaning is that it did not reach them the prohibition. Or they understood the prohibition to be regarding those who don't understand. Or the fact that in Ramadan it is recommended that you finish the Qur'an a lot. So they used to finish it more than a few times before even 3 days were up. Nonetheless, there were people who Allah blessed them with understanding the Qur'an and understanding of the deen to an extent which we are not able to. So for them to do so, they had excuses for that. Now, the scholars also mentioned that from the way the shaitan fools some individuals, there's 2 ways. One is that he makes them negligent towards religion, in which slowly he leaves off the religion. He says, Salah is obligatory, but let me delay it a bit every day. He delays it every day. Then slowly he gets lazy, he leaves off 1 prayer, he prays 4, he does not pray the 1. Then slowly the next day he prays 3 prayers, and slowly he leaves off the prayer in totality. He has negligence. The shaitan misled him to thinking these things are not obligatory. These acts are not obligatory upon him, and it misled him. Another way that the shaitan gets to people is that he gives them, he says, zid, increase. Increase in your acts of worship. Increase in all of these affairs. So he increases until he becomes one who leaves religion. And from the example of those are the Khawarij. The shaitan fooled them. They said, you're not doing enough, do more. They do more, until it comes to a point, لَنْ يُشَادَ دِينَ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ. None makes religion hard upon him except that it overpowers him. So when they increase in extremism and go into this increase, it became hard upon them and they left the religion. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said, يَمْرُكُونَ مِنَ الدِّينِ كَمَا يَمْرُكُ السَّحْمُ مِنَ الرَّمِيَّةِ. That they will leave the religion as the arrow leaves the game, mean animal. So for that reason, it's not permissible to be negligent in your religion, nor have extremism. It is not permissible to be extreme in one's religion. In any affair, you cannot be extreme. From that which the scholars mentioned of extremism, it's just an example we're going to give, is that some of those who start practicing, they hear from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is to keep the thobe to how long? To the shin, halfway the shin. Some of them they say, I'm going to increase it a bit, and they put it just below their knees. This is extremism, Shaykh Fawzan mentions. Now to us this is something small, but this could be something which leads to greater affairs. You're extreme in something as small as your thobe, you're going to be extreme in something later on as well. Because it's not sufficient for you the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, you want to increase and increase and increase until you become from those who are extreme in their religion. So something which is dangerous. The best affair is the affair of the Prophet ﷺ. If he did something a certain way, then you follow it exactly that certain way, do not go in extreme. You do not go into extreme and say, but maybe this way is better because I'm doing good. For that reason, when Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu said, فَلَمْ أَرُدْ إِلَّا الْخَيْرِ, I did not intend except for good. وَكَمْ مِنْ مُرِيدٍ لِلْخَيْرِ لَمْ يَبْلُغَهُ. As Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said to those who are being extreme regarding their worship, They're doing istighfar and tahmeed and all these affairs after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, how many people intend good, but they did not attain it. So it's not permissible to be extreme in any affair of your religion. It's not permissible to be extreme in any affair of one's religion. Then he says, وَلِمُسْلِمٍ عَنْ إِبْنِ مَسْعُودٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ قَالَ هَلَكَ الْمُتَنَطِّعُونَ. Destroyed are the extreme ones. Destroyed are those who go into extremism. Then he says, وَلِأَحْمَدَ عَنْ عَبْدِ الرَّحْمَنِ بن شبر رجاء مرفوعا اقرأوا القرآن ولا تغلوا فيه ولا تشفوا عنه ولا تأكلوا به ولا تستكثروا به. And Abdul Rahman ibn Shibal, marfu'an, mean raised to the Prophet, read the Quran, do not go in extreme regarding it, do not have negligence, do not make it a means of you eating, meaning attaining wealth, and do not be from those who seek a lot of wealth by it. Now, these narrations, we went through it before, so we'll go to the next one. He says, عن أبي رافع رضي الله عنه رسول الله قال لا ألفين أحدكم متكئا على أريكته يأتيه الأمر من أمري مما أمرت به. I should not find one of you reclining on his sofa or on his couch or that which he reclines upon. يأتيه الأمر من أمري. A command of my commands comes to him, that which I've commanded with, أو نهيت عن, or prohibited from. He said, لا أدري. He says, I do not know. ما وجدنا في كتاب الله اتبعناه. That which you find in the book of Allah, I follow, or we follow. This hadith is a refutation upon a group called the Qur'aniyun. Those who say, I only follow the Qur'an, and does not follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. As Abi Rafi radiallahu an, he is from those who are the free slaves of the Prophet ﷺ, and is a great companion who became Muslim before Badr but did not attend that war, or did not take part in that war, and he took part in Uhud and that which is after it. And he died in Medina in the Khilafah of Ali radiallahu an. Now this hadith shows us that it is not permissible for one to say that he only follows the Qur'an. For the Qur'an and the Sunnah, they come together. You cannot distinguish the Qur'an from the Sunnah. The Qur'an and authentic Sunnah, they come together. For there is Imam Ahmad rahimahullah used to say that as-Sunnah hiya dala'il al-Qur'an wa hiya tufasil al-Qur'an. The Sunnah is the proofs for the Qur'an and it explains the Qur'an. So from these people who want to extreme regarding the Qur'an, they say we only follow the Qur'an. And we won't follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's from extremism regarding the Qur'an. Because the Qur'an commands you to follow the Prophet ﷺ. مَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوا وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. That which he commands you, take it. And now what it prohibits you from, then stay away from it. So the Qur'an itself commands you with following the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So if we want to say, I only follow the Qur'an, not the Sunnah, then in reality has gone extremism into extremes regarding the Qur'an, and not following the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. For you cannot do in Islam without the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. How will you be able to pray? The Prophet ﷺ says, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni yusalli." Does the Qur'an tell you exactly how to pray? No. Does it tell the nisab, the nisab for the zakat? No. The Hajj rituals, does it tell you exactly how to perform the Hajj rituals? No. For that reason, it's a must that one follows the Qur'an and the Sunnah together, and does not say, I will only follow the Qur'an. For that reason, those are Qur'aniyun who say, I only follow the Qur'an, I will not believe in the Sunnah or follow it. Hudayf and Jammaal radiallahu anhu, and other than him, they said they're kuffar. They're not Muslims. Because they left alone another revelation from the revelation of Al-Islam, which is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. And Allah says in the Qur'an, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We send down the remembrance and we will protect and preserve it. From the remembrance is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So Allah also protects the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So with this, inshallah, we'll stop. If there's any questions, we'll take it now. If not, we'll continue next week.